Hello, I am the Understudy, and this is the channel where we discuss everything musical theater related. Today we are reading Barron's AP Music Theory, 3rd edition by Nancy Fuller-Skagen, BME. This is a long and extensive book, and I'm working my way through it to learn more. And these videos are a way for me to organize my own journey, but I'm very happy that you're here with me. Before we start, if you have any questions throughout, type them in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Now, this is part 4, Aural Skills Part 1, Fundamentals and Singing. The vocabulary for this chapter is aural skills, solfege, solfege syllables, movable do, sight singing, melodic dictation, harmonic dictation, and melodic patterns. Let's go. Music is a process of communication. In language, we hear words. We reproduce the words we hear. We read and write words for others. We use words to write our own original thoughts and ideas. Oral skills refers to the process of identifying, producing, and notating elements of music that we hear. Oral skills are a very important part of this course, and therefore the exam. Preparing yourself for the oral skills portion of the AP Music Theory exam is an ongoing process from day one. It begins with overcoming fear of hearing your own voice. For those of you who are vocalists, you have an edge here. Make sure to use it. For those of you who are instrumentalists, it's time to strip away anxiety and let loose. The sight singing portion of the exam is frightening to many students, mainly because they have not prepared well enough by singing enough. Many are anxious because, as musicians, as we are performers, and this aspect of the exam requires us to perform, for some with an unfamiliar instrument, your voice. In this chapter, we look at the aspects of our oral skills and help you to find your inner AP Music Theory voice. Oral skills components of the AP Music Theory exam. Let's begin by understanding exactly what is going to be on the oral portion of the exam and what skills are required to successfully accomplish each section. There will be notating on one staff. The free response section includes 2 melodies that will be performed either by instrument or by voice, and students are expected to write down both the pitch and rhythm accurately. This is called melodic dictation. As with the sight singing portion, the melodic dictation will have one melody in the treble clef and one in the bass clef. One melody will be in simple meter and one will be in compound meter. One melody will be in major key and one will be in a minor key. The melody will be played 3 times for the first example and 4 times for the second example with time in between to notate. What skills are required for a successful melodic dictation? Recognizing the key center or tonality. Recognizing the meter and understanding the rhythms. Understanding their relationship with the pitches and the tonal center. Recognizing familiar melodic and rhythmic patterns and their placement in the measure. Being able to correctly draw note heads, stems, dots, beams, and flags that correspond to rhythm and pitches, including accidentals on the staff corresponding to placement in the tonality. One of the keys to successful melodic dictation is being able to reproduce the melody you hear in your head. Audition. Listen to the melody as if you were to be asked to sing it back. It is an oversimplification to state, if you can hear it, you can notate it, but you can definitely have difficulty notating the phrase if you can't retain the melody. 2. There will be notating on the grand staff. Going on one deep step deeper into hearing, identifying, and notating is the skill of harmonic dictation. This process requires you to listen to a 4-part harmonization of 6 to 8 chords. The first chord is given to you. The student must then write down the melody, soprano, and the bass line, and give the Roman numeral chord symbol and inversion, if needed, for each chord. There will be 2 harmonic dictations. Both will be approximately the same length, both will be played on the piano, but one will be more challenging than the other. One will be in major key and one will be in minor key. The more challenging harmonic dictation usually, but not always, includes chromatic or secondary harmony. What skills are required for successful harmonic dictation? Understanding the relationship of chords to the tonal center. Discriminating between chord qualities and recognizing inversions. Recognizing familiar melodic patterns, linear movement in the melody and the bass and their placement within the example. Recognizing and notating cadences. Understanding the norms of common practice style. There will be identification, 3. There will be identification, error detection, and score analysis. The multiple choice portion of this exam has 2 parts. Part A uses recorded music that requires a student to identify from 4 possible choices such as scales, modes, interval quality, chord quality, and rhythm. These questions are usually played on the piano. Listen to a 2, 3, 4, or 4 part harmonization played by piano and recognize mistakes in the score in pitch and rhythm. This is called error detection. Listen to short excerpts from various genres, ranging from chamber music to full orchestra, jazz band, or solo voice, and answer multiple choice questions based on the oral presentation. What skills are required for successful score analysis? Recognizing the key, recognizing the meter and understanding the rhythms, understanding the relationship of the pitches to the tonal center, recognizing cadences and non-chord tones, recognizing and understanding form and texture, recognizing and understanding performance considerations including timbre, dynamic, articulations, tempo, and style, recognizing harmonic progression and relationship to key centers, understanding the norms of the common practice style. 4. There will be singing. The final portion of the exam is two sight singing examples that must be sung and recorded. These recordings are evaluated by exam graders called readers, who meet every summer in June with the sole purpose of grading the free response section of the AP Music Theory exam. One melody will be in treble clef and one will be in bass clef. Most students are linear readers, meaning they have spent the last 5 or 6 years learning only one clef. You must become fluent with reading and writing both treble and bass clef and practice singing daily in both clefs. One melody will be in simple meter and one will be in compound meter. Once again, students who have not read music in 6/8 time may become anxious at this prospect. One will be in major key and one will be in the minor key. The melody in minor key will usually reflect what music does in minor. It will have scalar variance. You may sing a leading tone in one measure, followed by the use of a subtonic in the next measure, and the end with a melodic minor passage. That's what real music does. Melody 2 is usually more complex than Melody 1. You will have 75 seconds to prepare and practice and 30 seconds to record your performance. What skills are required for successful singing? Recognizing the key, recognizing the meter and understanding the rhythms, understanding the relationship to the pitches and the tonal center, being able to reproduce the melody while maintaining the tonal center. Tip. To be successful in the oral skills portion of the AP exam, one must connect what the ears hear and what the eyes see with what the brain knows is common and the norm for this period of music. It is not enough to be able to recognize a melodic minor scale when you see it. You must also be able to reproduce the sound by singing what you see. And the reverse skill will be to recognize what you are hearing is a melodic minor scale and then be able to to notate what you hear. Okay. Singing. In this chapter, we focus on singing. So let's begin by discussing systems used for sight singing. You may sing using numbers or simply a neutral syllable like la or da. However, the use of singing with a system or a solfege syllable is the most common choice. Sight singing is a method of training your brain understanding the relationship between the notes within a specific scale or tonality. The solfege syllables are a tool to make recognizing those relationships automatic. You are learning to sing and hear each note according to its role in the key. You will hear and sing notes in their relationship to the preceding notes or in relationship to the tonic. One commonly used method of solfeggio is called movable do. Movable do means that regardless of what key you're in, the first tonic, the first note of the scale, is always do. So here we have two examples of G major and C major. Whether singing in G major or the C major scale using the movable do system, the solfege remains the same even though the pitches are different. This reinforces the fact that the major scale pattern of whole and half steps remains the same and sound the same. With a movable do, the solfege, like the numbers, are the same from scale to scale. You have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do in major. This is in contrast to a solfeggio system called fixed do. The fixed do system attaches solfege syllables that remain within the pitch regardless of the key. C is always do, D is always re, and so forth. In fixed do, G is always so. Therefore, the G major scale would start on so. So it would be so, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, so. For most who use the fixed do system, chromaticism does not affect the syllable. All Fs are sung as fa. There are also two prevalent systems for singing in minor mode. Do-based minor is the movable do system in minor. The tonic Here we have the parallel minor. The tonic, the first pitch of the scale, is do, just like in major. Because C minor scale differs from the C major scale, the solfege syllables are also different. You will see more on this later. So here we have do, re, mi, la, do, re, mi, fa, sol, le, te, do. This is actually wrong. This should be le, le. Another system of singing is in minor is called the law-based minor. The system reflects the fact that relative minor of any major scale uses the same pitches starting on the sixth scale of la or la. The system is very prevalent in choral music to facilitate moving from a major key to a relative minor. So here we see that do is C, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. Any solfege method, movable do, fixed do, la-based or do-based minor, has its strengths. In this guide, we will use movable do for system both major and minor, where do always represents the tonic, 1, so always represents the dominant, 5, and ti is always the leading tone, 7. If you're using another system of sight singing, you're encouraged to continue to do so. The use of scale degree numbers and names will help to reconcile these systems with each other. In this guide, solfege syllables will be bold and italicized. I'm not sure that's what I've done in the presentation. Anyways, Chapter 3 presented information on major and minor scales and the organization of pitches into keys. Now we are ready to sing those scales and couple this information with the skill of notating. Singing warm-ups in major. Hear, sing, notate will be our motto. Listen to scales and scale patterns. Play them on any instrument. Sing them. Notate scales in every key. Hear, sing, notate. Starting with a pattern of whole and half steps that generate the major scale, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, we attach solfege syllables to each note representing the degrees of the scale. Let's review. 1. Tonic, do. 2. Supertonic, re. 3. Mediant, mi. Fa, subdominant, 4. 5. Dominant, so. 6. Submediant, la. 7. Leading tone, ti. And 8. Tonic, the high do. Here are the basic scale patterns, shown here in F major, that are important for you to be able to recognize when you hear it and when you sing it, and when you notate it. Let's go through them. We start on F. Then we have an F major tonic arpeggio. Let's move on to the third, the diatonic ascending intervals. Then we have the diatonic descending intervals. We also have a scale in thirds, as we see here. Then we have an arpeggiated chord with the practice jumping over octaves when the range becomes too difficult. I want to add that these chord symbols, we'll talk about them more later. This is the same thing, but with an added seventh on the fifth chord here. This next exercise, as we will see here, is called the Scale Degree Finder. It is helpful to quickly go through the scale and find the pitch that you need. It also contains the tonic triad and common diatonic intervals. Each measure starts with do, this time in D major. It is a great warm-up exercise before sight singing. So we start on this note. That is now do. As you notice, the next two notes are different. They should be do, do. Here's another great warm-up exercise using the tonic triad and the individual resolutions to the tendency tones. Fa resolves down to mi, la or lay resolves to so, more important in minor when there's a half step between 5 and 6. Ti resolves upwards to do, re resolves to do, and particularly in the bass, so resolves to do. Skips within a melody are often one of these fragments moving to another one of these fragments connected by stepwise motion. Sing as one continuous line. Let us see. It starts on C. This is the do. Resolution exercise in C major. The next step is recognizing the top 10 melodic patterns. These are combinations of our patterns that are found abundantly in melodies. By looking at music in context, you will see and recognize these patterns. Notice how and where they are used. This time, let's use G major. We start on G. That is our do. The most common ending of melodies. We have the second most common ending of melodies. A variation of that. This is the most often used anacrusis. All parts of this scale are going up or down. We have up, and then we have all parts of the scale going down. We also have a tonic triad ascending, or the tonic triad descending. Let's move on here and continue. First, we have all parts of the scale in thirds. We have low so ascending to the tonic. We have the altered note that resolves to so. Same one here. And then we have the most common bass line endings. And a split so-so-do is very common. And the second most often used bass ending. Gorgeous. Let us move on. Let's review in major. Here's a simple hymn tune in G major. It is in simple triple meter with one beat and the anacrusis on so. Look for the top 10 melodic patterns. They will occur in all four parts, not just the melody. Solfege all four parts and sing. So this is an exercise that you can do by yourself. I'm not going to go through it here, but it's very helpful if you would write down the solfege syllables and then sing through it. If you want me to write down and create a track for this, I can do that. Just let me know in the comments. So what stands out? Melodic ending in do, re, do. Here. Bass ending in fa, so, do. Here, fa, so, 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 do. The anacrusis is so, do. Whenever there is a skip larger than the third, it's usually from do to so or to do to so. Do or so. So from do or so or to do or so, not necessarily the relationship between them. In the melody, there is mostly stepwise motion, skipping up or down by thirds. Okay, let's go on to some minor scale review. So before singing in minor, let's review the forms of the minor scale. There are 3 forms of minor: natural, harmonic, and melodic. All 3 forms begin with the same first 5 notes called a minor pentachord, but scale degrees 6 and 7 are different, depending on the form of minor. The minor pentachord differs from the major pentachord by 1 pitch. The third scale degree is lower 1/2 step. So here we have C major and C minor. We can see that the middle, E, mi, or E flat, me, is different. So yeah, okay. Major and minor keys with different key signatures but with the same tonic are called parallel. Let's see if I have that here. Yes. When comparing natural minor to its parallel major, the third, the sixth, and the seventh scale degrees are lowered. So the solfege syllables on 3, 6, and 7 are altered as well. Using the movable do solfege for sight singing in minor reinforces the concept of do as the center of the tonality, the tonic. In the natural or pure form of the minor scale, there are no alterations from the key signature. This means that in seventh scale, we have the natural minor called the subtonic, meaning the whole step below the tonic. Another prominent element is that 4 of the scale degrees are exactly the same when comparing major and parallel minor, do, re, fa, and so. This once again helps to establish consistency when singing. Whether in major or minor, do, so sounds the same. It should. It's the same interval. So here we'd have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do in C major, and do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do in C natural minor. Here's one more comparison. Here we have the parallel keys of A major and A natural minor. A major are parallel because they have the same tonic. Here is the relative of C major and A minor because they have the same key signature. It is an harmonic form of minor that the seventh scale degree is raised both ascending and descending. So here we have C major and C harmonic minor, but leaves the other notes the same as natural minor. This creates a half step below the tonic so that the seventh once again leads to the tonic. Do is always tonic, re is always supertonic, fa is always subdominant, so is always dominant, and ti is always leading tone. It doesn't always have the seventh scale degree because it can be a subtonic, but ti is always leading tone. In minor scale, with both the sixth and the seventh scale degree raised, it is a melodic form of minor. The upper tetrachord, last 4 notes, is the same as major. Because the sixth and seventh scale degrees are raised in order to go more smoothly and convincingly up to the tonic, these scale degrees will only be raised when the melody scale is ascending. The descending form will be melodic minor scale. It reverts back to the natural form. You can see it laid out here. So we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, te, li, le. It should be le. I don't know what's wrong here. So, fa, me, re, do. The upper tetrachord, the last 4 chords, are the same as the melodic minor as the parallel major. Therefore, if you see a melodic form of minor, then your last 4 chords are sung like major. So here we have the only difference between them, and these are identical. Now let's go back and put those sight singing exercises into parallel minor. We have F natural minor scale. Then we have the F minor tonic arpeggio. We have the diatonic ascending intervals harmonic minor. Then we have the diatonic descending intervals natural minor. The scale in thirds, this melodic minor, this is slightly different because they're raising the sixth and the seventh leads to do, and the natural minor form is used for descending line. So here we have the descending scale goes back to natural minor, the raised submediant, and the raised seventh scale degree. Let's listen to it. Then we have the arpeggiated chords in harmonic minor. Practice jumping octaves. Note that the dominant triad and the dominant seventh chord, in this case arpeggio, are the same in F major and in F harmonic minor. You see these chords here, we'll talk about them more later. Now let's add the seventh to this chord, so we'll add a 4th note. Let me find them. We start on F, and here we go. scale degree finder in D harmonic minor. Scale degree 3, May, and scale degree 6, Lay, are what different from major. The leading tone is the same in both. Let us continue to the resolution exercise in C harmonic minor. So this means that we start on C, Do. Now let's show the top 10 melodic patterns in minor and see where they differ from major and where they are the same. So we will go to the G minor, starting on G. Let's go and start with the most common ending of melodies. This is the same in major and minor. There's a variation of that same one. And the most often anacrusis used. Here we have all parts of the scale going up, all parts of the scale going down. Tonic triad ascending, tonic triad descending. Okay, here we have all parts of the scale in thirds. Let's listen to this. This is the same in major and melodic minor. We have the Phi alteration, same as major. Also same as major. And the most common bass line ending, all of these are the same. We have the split octave so-so-do ending. And the second most often used bass ending. And those are all of our listening exercises for today. Let's move on to some chromatic scale in solfege. Now that we have practiced in the major and minor form of the scale, let's review the whole menu of solfege choices, the chromatic scale. So this is what it looks like. Notice that in this example of the C chromatic scale, when the pitches are the same, sung as the pitch D or Re, the solfege is the same whether ascending or descending. The difference occurs in the solfege just like in notation because of enharmonic spellings. Though C sharp and D flat are the same pitch, C sharp must be variation of Do, D, and D flat is a variation of Re, Ra. The note that is half a step higher than Fa is Fi. The note that is half a step lower than So is Se. So let's go through this. If we move, let's see, upwards here. Do, Di, Re, Ri, Mi, Fa, Fi, So, Si, La, Li, Ti, Do. We also here, if we're going down, we have Do, Ti, Te, La, Le, So, Se, Fa, Mi, Me, Re, Ra, Do. You can see that these are the same, and these are the same, and so on. Okay, 10 sight singing tips. Now, practice singing. Here are a few suggestions to help develop your skill for sight singing. Check the clef. Check the key signature. Is the melody major or minor? Check the time signature. Consider the range and determine where to set Do. If the given pitch is uncomfortable, you may move Do to any pitch. Always know where the tonic pitch Do is and be able to return to it even if you get lost. Sing a warm-up exercise such as the scale degree finder or the resolution exercise. Look for familiar melodic patterns. Use a pencil to circle all the tonics or write the solfege, or use just one letter per syllable. Use for a section or chunk that is not stepwise or easily recognizable. Sing up the scale to find pitches that you are unsure of or for difficult intervals, or use the scale degree finder. Practice the melody out loud. Use all 75 sections of practice time to sing. Evaluating your sight singing. This guide does not include recorded examples of what these melodies should sound like. The practice melodies will be most effective if you employ the sight singing process by limiting your time while looking and practicing singing each melody, then performing each melody straight out without stopping. Once you have gone through the process of sight singing each of these melodies, you will need to play them on your piano or an instrument of your choice to at least hear the correct pitches. You will sight sing once. After that, it's called practice. After you have performed, go over your mistakes and figure out what is correct. Observe the pattern and look carefully at the rhythms. It would be very helpful to record yourself singing the examples and perhaps go over them with your teacher, especially for the sight singing in the practice exam. Circle on the pages where you made mistakes. Don't forget to include folding out the last note full value. And that is the end of Oral Skills Part 1 Fundamental Sight Singing. Fundamentals and Singing. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, I'd be honored if you subscribed, and as always, leave all the comments at the bottom and I will get to them because I'm expecting there to be a lot of questions about this. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Go on to the quiz or the next video.